All the people from my wrestling class disappeared. Posted by u/bowfly. English isn't my first language, so sorry for the grammar. This happened back when I was in high school, but I just can't stop thinking about it. When I was in high school, I used to take wrestling classes every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Would start at 6 p.m. and end 8 p.m. Even though it started at 6, I would always be there by 5:30. A few more people would come and we would just chill in the park nearby. So, one day I went to my wrestling class by 5:30. It was kind of weird because I was the only one there. I just sat alone and waited all other people to show up. By 6 p.m. I was still the only person, but I decided to go inside and start the class, but when I entered there was absolutely nobody. It was really weird. All the lights were on but there was nobody inside. I got outside and decided that I would wait a bit longer. At around 6:40 p.m., I got a call from my older sister saying that I should come back home. Also, she said, there is someone following you, do not take the way by the kindergarten, come near the supermarket and walk home from there, and then they hang up. There was actually someone standing there and staring at me. I started walking back home, and the guy started following me. As my sister said, I went near the supermarket and then walked home. By the time I was near the supermarket, the guy went back and stopped following me. I rang the doorbell and my older sister, the one who called me, opened the door with shock on her face, said, "Why you came so early? I thought you had the wrestling class." When I said that I came home because you called me, she said she never called me. I took my phone to show her the call history. She was right, there was no call from her. I did not think about it too much, I thought it was an error with the phone and my sister was just joking with me. 2 days later I went to the next wrestling class. This time everything was normal. By 5:30 everyone was there. And I asked the guys why nobody came last time. They all said that everyone was there. I was the only person who missed the class. I could not believe it, so before the class started I went to my wrestling teacher and asked him the same question. He said that everyone was there by 6 p.m. and I was not there. He said he tried to call me but he was not able to reach me. He wanted to call my parents but he did not have their number. I still cannot understand what happened that day. What did really happen that day? Christmas lights. Posted by u/squash it on the floor. So this happened to me a few years back and I have never been able to explain it. Even my partner, who is super no nonsense, can't figure it out. It was the build up to Christmas and we had just brought our Christmas tree home ready to decorate. We had some fairy lights from the year before that we hoped we could reuse. Us being us, we didn't think to try the lights to see if they were working before wrapping them around the tree. So lo and behold, after finishing the tree decorations, the big light turn on was a big letdown as the lights didn't work when we plugged them in. We sighed, laughed and began to carefully remove the lights so not to disturb too many of the other decorations. Bit of a time-consuming process which we were both engrossed in. Anyway, got the lights off and kind of just left them in a heap behind us while we wrapped a working set of lights round the tree that had been intended for round the window. Finishing up, we started to tidy some of the mess around us, and that's when we realized the broken lights were nowhere to be found. At first it was just like, where are the lights? They were just on the floor. Neither of us had left the room. We checked under and behind the sofa/TV stand. Nowhere. The room was minimal furniture, so no other place to hide. This was a sizable line of lights. I even went to the bin to check one of us had not thrown the lights away. They were not in the bin, and as I say, we hadn't left the room. When we moved out the flat in the summer, we both said, those lights will probably turn up someplace as we emptied the wardrobe and cupboards. But no. They never did. We joke sometimes that they slipped into some sort of void. But to be honest, it creeps me out not knowing what happened to them. My not so exciting glitch. Posted by u/Yoshiwa. So I'll just jump in front of this and say it might not even be a glitch. It could be the product of poor memory or something else, and it also doesn't have a crescendo like a lot of these glitch stories, but here's mine. So I was working midnights at a place, and I'd only been there a few weeks. I was working near a side door that went out to a makeshift parking lot surrounded by a field, and it was summertime, so the door was open to get some fresh air. I saw a silhouette of a person. She was standing like 15 feet from the door but off to the right, basically in some knee-high weeds. I assumed it was someone I work with, going out to smoke or something. A few minutes pass and she walks in and she looks fucked up. She's very obviously distraught and panicked. She looked like she was in her 50s and appeared very gaunt and skinny. She came in and asked if someone could drive her to the hospital. I was like, who? We're kinda working here. Let me go grab my foreman, so I did. She just stood there, kinda staring straight ahead and waiting. I told my boss, Kenny, and he was immediately weirded out when he looked down the aisle and saw her kinda just staring straight ahead. He went up and talked to her. I overheard her say there was a car wreck and that her son was hurt and that she needed to get him to a hospital. He offered her the phone but she refused and left. So a weird situation to begin with. Cut 2. A few days later, people were talking about a car wreck down the road from us where mom and son were killed. I went and asked Kenny if he thought it could be the woman from that night, like she got back in her car and drove off and wrecked again, and he had no knowledge of the event. He didn't remember the woman, or her creepy ass standing there, staring straight ahead. He didn't recall offering her his phone or her asking for a ride. I don't know what the hell happened, but it does creep me TF out. This fly really just did that before my eyes. Posted by u/nostalgigatuna. So, me and my dad are watching my young cat hunt a fly around our living room. She's very young and active and we don't trust her enough yet to be careful enough to not jump from a window or something while hunting, so we're still very vigilant of her. So whenever this happens, we usually close the windows and glass balcony doors both for safety and to ensure she will catch the fly and get the fun and satisfaction from the hunting. We love our cats lol. So, at this point, we have the fly trapped in, and we're just enjoying the show. Our cat catches the fly against the glass balcony door, smushes it against it, then between her paws. At some point the fly gets free, flies high enough so that even if my cat jumped she wouldn't reach it, so my dad, trying to help, decides to scare the fly to make it fly down a little bit. I'm just watching it all happen as any other normal warm, nice morning in Spain. Nothing weird. I see my dad make a gesture, with his hand on a C, as to cup the fly and push it down the glass, at which point the fly just straight up disappears, and I see it again on the other side of the glass, on the outside, and it just flies free into the day. I felt my brain melt. I'd had my eyes on the damn fly the whole time and it was inside. My cat had touched and smushed it. It was a fat one, so it had made the typical buzzing sound they make when against a glass. I just saw it go through the glass before my eyes. Not gonna lie, it was pretty cool. I feel like I saw my dad perform the coolest magic trick. He's super confused too. He said he should have felt it on his hand if it was inside when he did the motion, but he didn't. Also note for more proof, my cat kept looking for it too, meowing in frustration because she lost her toy. 1970s jogger appears and disappears. Posted by u/Oblivion 1972. It occurred in Ohio, between the village of Terrace Park and Milford. It was morning, daylight, clear visibility. I was headed eastbound on Route 50. This happened 3 weeks ago. I was driving home from work on the same route I've taken for 25 years. I drive through a few small towns, and being in the morning, I always pay close attention. Mainly due to joggers, people walking their dogs and children, when school is in. So as I'm going through an intersection in town, ahead of me on a sidewalk I see a man appear out of nowhere jogging. He's dressed like he just left Woodstock. Bell-bottom jeans, boots, jean jacket and a tie-dyed shirt. Long reddish blonde hair and a scraggly mustache with gold-brimmed glasses. He's running toward me on the sidewalk, and within 25 feet or so he vanished. If anyone knows the band Ram Jam, he looked just like the lead singer in their Black Betty video. I told my wife about it, and she told me about this subreddit. So that's that. I have the most boring glitch in the Matrix story to share, but there is no explanation for what happened. Posted by u/Honeymite. Yeah, I know I should have some sort of hook in the title to make you want to read it, but this is genuinely boring but plays on my mind quite a bit. I was alone at home tidying up the lounge. On the sofa was a paper napkin that my husband had left from the night before. I picked it up and rolled my eyes to myself that he had left it there for me to throw away. I took the napkin to the kitchen and threw it away. I remembered this clearly as the bin was quite full and I had pushed some stuff down in the bin when I placed it on top. Returned to the lounge and the napkin was back on the sofa where I had picked it up. I picked it up again, took it to the kitchen and put it in the bin. I am 100% certain I put the same napkin in the bin twice. Nonetheless, as I processed it, I checked the bin and there was one napkin. The sofa was dark blue and the napkin white, so I would have definitely noticed if there had been two napkins. There you go. My boring glitch in the Matrix incident that I cannot find an explanation for. I might have saved my cousin. Posted by u/Calligrapher. No. So, this is a weird situation that's happened 3 times, each when I returned to the area where my hometown is. The first time was at a gas station. A middle-aged couple came up to me, and I recognized them but couldn't place them, but they were smiling and said something about, "I heard about your grandfather, how is your dad holding up?" This was about a month after he had passed. So I assumed they knew my parents, exchanged some small talk. It took a minute to realize something was wrong. The things they were saying were off somehow, and I got this sudden shock that I didn't know these people at all. I normally would just be a little embarrassed, but instead I was terrified. No sooner did that hit me, Then the two of them just walked away, mid-conversation, got in their car and drove off. No goodbyes, nothing. It unnerved me, but alone not a big deal. One of my next visits I was at a little festival about a half hour away from my hometown. This girl comes up to me smiling, and she looks a little familiar. She says something about seeing my sister's pictures online and congratulations. This is not long after she had her first baby, so I figured it was one of my sister's friends from high school, and thanked her. Again, a little small talk when that same feeling of not knowing her, and that total fear. A moment later the girl left again mid-conversation, literally stomping her way out of the festival like she was furious. My aunt came over a moment later and asked who that was, and I honestly said I didn't know. She agreed it was weird. The third time it was an older man who walked over at a store and told me that I was the spitting image of my mom. I've heard that before, so I agreed, and the familiar sense lasted a bit longer before the anxiety started, and the old man just left, moving more quickly than before, like he was scared as well.
Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe for more videos.